Urban Facility with another Transgirl CNC where we talk about comics, cartoons, and other awesome nerd shit. Well, last week I said I didn't know what we'd be talking about this week, but between then and now I did figure it out. We're going to be taking a turn from things produced in America and take a look at comics produced in Japan, known as manga. That's how the language works. Yep. So we're going to take a look at two titles, maybe, depending on how long I go on one, depends on if I have time to get to the other, and if we don't have time to get to the other, then we're going to push that on to next week, but I think we can do them both. So let's get right into it. This is some manga that I think you should check out, more or less. Our first one is That Time I Got Reincarnated into a Slime from Kodansha Comics. It's really neat. It follows the arc story type of the main character dies and gets resurrected into another world, generally as a super important and powerful character who no one can mess with whatsoever. And it kind of does follow that story type and those tropes. But there is a small twist in that the main character gets, of course, reincarnated into the lowest of the low, the slime monster. Slimes are totally not important in any kind of way. Everybody looks down on them. So, our main character, Taru, is out with a coworker, after waking up from a strange dream that he had about a different life. And basically, he dies. He gets stabbed by a perch snatcher, and he lays bleeding out. So while he's bleeding out, he's like, dying by bleeding out sucks. I wish that, had never happened. I wish that I didn't waste my life at work. I'm like 37, and I've never even had a girlfriend or been with a girl. I'm a virgin. This is awful. But, maybe if I had made it to 40, I could have, been what they call a great sage. And the entire time that he's listening his laments off in his own head, there's a voice talking back to him, like, okay, that's taken care of. Okay, you get skilled predator, skilled great sage. And, it's a kind of computerized voice. He doesn't know where it's coming from, but he also kind of doesn't care because he's dying. And everything goes dark. Bum, bum, bum. But over time, even though things are still dark, he realizes that there are things still around him. He can sense, himself and sort of the space around him. He can't see anything. And he figures out that he is indeed a slime. And he's like, oh, this sucks. Oh, I didn't want to be resurrected into, a slime. That's awful. Nobody wants to be a slime. But he's like, thinking about it, it's not too bad. Nobody will really mess with me because I'm so, small, little, and he just kind of, absorbs, plants and rocks to pass time because he doesn't have anything else to do. And through a series of circumstances, he runs into a dragon in the very cave that he's in, trapped. The dragon is trapped by a seal, and the dragon's name is Valdoran, and he basically gives him some guides to how to do things in the world, like how to see without eyes. It's a thing called magic sense, and he gets a very detailed perception of the world. It's like, whoa! And, they're talking a little bit about why the dragon's trapped. It was apparently a beautiful woman that sealed him. And our main character is making fun of the dragon for having a thing for humans. The other dragon's like, no, bleh, whatever. And so I'm like, well, you seem like a pretty lonely guy. I don't have any friends. Do you want to be friends? And the dragon's like, me be friends with a slime? That's preposterous. And our main character's like, okay, if you don't want to. The dragon's like, I didn't say I didn't want to. Yeah, whatever. And he's like, well, how about I get you out of that seal? I think I can do it. And the dragon's like, you can't do it. And it turns out he can't do it. But they come up with a way to get the dragon out, sort of. one of the slime skills is called Predator, and it's what basically lets him absorb stuff into himself. And so he absorbs the dragon, Valdora. But not before the two exchange names. Rimuru is the name given to the slime, and our main character's name is now Rimuru. Valdora gives him this name, and he's known as Rimuru Tempest, because he gives the dragon the last name Tempest. And, Valdora's like, yeah, I like that. You're a Rimuru. You're of me and my friend, and etc. And so the story goes from that to Rimuru kind of getting out of the cave and then exploring the world beyond. And he has to get to know the rules of the world and everything that means. There are consequences for taking the dragon from the cave, and he has to deal with all of them. And so I'm not going to give too much away. I'm trying not to spoil anything as much as possible. But yeah, that's the entire story. Now, this is actually a manga adaptation of a series of books by the same name, by an author named Fuse, which I think is a great pen name. And I'll just that's great. The manga itself is done by Taiki Kawakami, and all the character designs are done by Mitzvah. And as you can see, the character designs are pretty neat. I mean, slimes are easy to draw, but yeah. There's the dragon, Valdora. I really like the art. I like the story. I think you should check it out. It's kind of silly, and it does take a different kind of look at the Reincarnated into a different world storyline that is actually pretty popular in anime and manga today. So that was The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. For 7 minutes in, I think we could talk about the next one with no problem. So let's get right into it. From Udon Comics, we have Infinity Force Arc to the Future. Now, this is a really cool manga. I don't know if you can just tell from the front, but that's the classic Gotcha Man from Tatsunoko Productions. It's really classic anime, and that's basically what the story's sort of about. It's actually a celebration of the 40th anniversary of classic characters from that production company, Gotcha Man, Takaman, Polymere, Cashin. It's got all those characters in it in a brand new story, or it brings those characters together in what is supposed to be our world. Now, whereas That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime came out last month and you could have missed it, this one just came out, so it's probably pretty fresh and you can probably find it anywhere you look. The nice thing about manga in comparison to the comics is that it's easy to order, especially if it's come out within the last year. It's easy to walk into a bookstore and give them the ISBN number, and they can generally get it for you. So that's the nice thing about manga. So even though The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime came out last month, and this came out this month, even if the place that you normally go to doesn't have it, they can generally order it for you with that ISBN number. So you're welcome there. But yeah, back to this. The story for this new story is written by Ukiyo Odachi, and the art for the book itself is done by Tasuma Ijiri, and they have done a phenomenal job together in creating a really great story. So, the main character's name is Emmy. She's just your average, standard, forgetful anime girl. She does the I'm late for school, there's a piece of toast in my mouth thing. It's great. And we start the story with her waking up from having a weird dream, which is kind of, I guess, a good way to tie these two together, as they both have that similar sort of start, and their stories are completely different. So she's trying to rush out the door because she's late for school, and at her door is a man with a package for her. He's kind of creepy looking AF, and she's like, fine. I'll take the package, whatever. She sets down her lunch that she made for herself, and she signs for the package, and then instead of taking her lunch, she takes her package to the school. So her friend's making fun of her, like, I can't believe you forgot your lunch, that's so you, ha ha ha. She's like, yeah, I know. And, like, but let's see what's in this package. And they're like, there's no return address on it. Her friend's like, what if it's a bomb? She's like, it's too small to be a bomb, it's probably just from my dad, you know, whatever. They open it, and inside is a pencil with the tag, possibility pencil. You know, make your dreams come true. And they're like, what? This is such a letdown. Like, it has such nice packaging. Can't believe it's just a pencil. And as they're talking about the pencil, Amy is sketching on the back of the little card about how she, you know, forgot her lunch, and she's super sad about it. And then her lunch appears at the side of her desk, and her friend's like, oh, you didn't forget it, it's right here, you silly. And it's kind of creepy, because she did forget her lunch, and suddenly it's right there. So she's trying to figure out how the pencil works, because it said, make your dreams come true, you know. And she's like, it couldn't have been the pencil, but it had to have been the pencil. And so she's wandering in the convenience store while she's trying to figure this out. And the convenience store gets robbed. In the middle of the robbery, she gets taken hostage. And the robber, he's like really cranky and angry. And he threatens the little girl with a gun. And Emmy, for no better reason other than she's scared herself, trying to pull attention away from the robber from the girl to her, as she starts singing, because, you know, she's under pressure. It's a scary situation. She doesn't know what to do, you know, and he's like, you're making fun of me. And he pushes her down to the ground. He's like, I'm going to kill you. You're dead. And she still has a hold of the pencil, because, you know, it's just a pencil. Like, nobody would, like, I don't know. I guess I'd like to say I'd jam it into his eye, but that could have been, you know, a terrible idea too. But anyway, so while she's there, gun to her head, he's threatening to kill her. She wishes in her heart for heroes that could save her and protect all the people in the convenience store from the situation. And her hand moves of its own free will, and she draws 4 heroes. And there's a flash of lights, and standing there is Gotcha Man himself in his entire science ninja team outfit. And he defeats the store robber, like, in a single blow. He's just like, pressure point, smack, and the guy goes down. And so Emmy rushes Gotcha Man out of there, because, you know, he's like causing a scene. He doesn't know where he is. And she explains the situation to him, and he's like, that's impossible, but I know you're not lying. I was in the middle of something. How could you have just summoned me like that? And she makes a promise to basically figure out a way to get him home, because she doesn't know how. And so that's kind of how the story starts. I don't want to spoil too much more for you, but along the way, she does meet Tekkaman, Kesrin, and Polmir. And then there's she meets these heroes from these classic animes, and there's like crime on the rise in her world, a drug that's turning people into monsters, and there's even a bigger threat that they're all going to hopefully work together to solve. There's a bit of trouble between some of the members of this team, and so they have to work around that too, and I think it's really neat. So check that out. It's Infinity Force, Art to the Future, Udon Comics. And yeah, that's everything for this week. So check out both of those. Next week, we're still going to be in Japan, taking a look at an anime that I like, that you like, hopefully, and I'll let you know what that is next week. But until then, love comics, love cartoons, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.